Concept 3 is on order of operations. It's important to follow order of operations when you're solving an expression that has more than one operation in it. An example would be an operation that has addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division all in the same problem. If you do not calculate them in the correct order, you're going to get the wrong answer. In elementary school, you probably learned an acronym that helped you remember the order that the operations should be solved in. You might remember PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Or you might have heard of GEMS. GEMS is new. It's a new way that teachers are using to help kids remember it. So you use whichever one helps you. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is parentheses first, then exponents, multiply or divide, whichever comes first in the problem, and then add or subtract, whichever comes first in the problem. GEMS is just like that, except instead of saying just parentheses, they use grouping symbols. Grouping symbols could mean parentheses, but it could also mean brackets. So they have included a few extra types of grouping symbols in it. They do say exponents next, but then they just say multiplication or division from left to right. And then the S stands for subtraction or addition from left to right. So it's just another way to remember it. You use the one that you like best. I'm going to do a few examples with you, and we're going to simplify some expressions with order of operations in them. The first one I'll start with, it does not have any grouping symbols, so the next step would be to use exponents. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 excuse me, is 9. So I rewrite everything except the exponent now has been evaluated to be the answer of 9. The next step would be to do the addition or the division. I have to do division first because order of operations says to do multiplication and division first. So I'm going to cross that out one step at a time. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So I'm going to replace that problem with the answer of 2. And now I've rewritten everything else. It's 5 plus 2 equals 7. Example B. I do have grouping symbols in this one. I will do 9 divided by 3 first. The exponent on the outside will represent the number that's inside the parentheses. So I rewrite 4 times, and then 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I've replaced that division problem with the answer of 3, and then the exponent is right there. So it's now 3 squared. Exponents come next, so I have to get rid of the 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9, so I've replaced 3 squared with the answer of 9, and I have 4 times 9 is 36. On the next page, there's example C. In example C, I do not have grouping symbols, but you would read this as 21 plus 3 squared divided by 3. So we're using division this time, but it looks like a fraction. I still have to do exponents first, so I'm going to rewrite everything exactly the same except this exponent now is evaluated to 9. 3 times 3 is 9. The next step is to do the division. Division comes before the addition does, so 9 divided by 3 is 3. I rewrite everything. 21 plus 3 is 24. Example D, I do have grouping symbols here, so I'm going to have to do 12 minus 2 first, which is 10. And then the exponent on the outside comes right here to the 10. So now I have 10 squared. The next step is to get rid of exponents. I actually have 2 sets of exponents. I can do them at the same time. I'm going to do 5 cubed and 10 squared. 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. And 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100. Add them together, and you get 225. Example E. I do not have grouping symbols, but I do have exponents. So 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2. The only thing I've done is taken out the exponent and replaced it with the value of 8. Everything else is rewritten exactly the same. The next step would be multiplication and division. I have to do whichever comes first in the problem. In this case, the multiplication comes first. 6 times 8 is 48. That's the only thing I did. I am not going to try to do the next step in my head. I'm going to write one step at a time. Now I have division and addition. I'm going to take the division out. It comes first. 48 divided by 3 is 16, and I'm left with addition. 16 plus 1 is 17. And for the last problem, example F, I will start with parentheses. 12 minus 8 is 4. So I've replaced the subtraction problem with the answer of 4. The square on the outside is attached to it. So now I have 4 squared. Step 2, I'm going to do exponents. I'm going to take that 4 squared out, and I'm going to replace it with the value of 16. So now everything else is rewritten this exactly the same. So now I have 8 plus 16 divided by 2. I have to do division before I do addition. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then I have 8 plus 8 is 16. I would like for you to pause the video and try the next 4 examples by yourself. Hit play when you would like to see the answers. Check your answers with mine. If you're still struggling, go back and try the examples again.